Welcome to Lotus Student Mentor channel. In this session we are going to study what is the difference between top-down approach and bottom-up approaches. What is the top-down approach? The top-down approach is will focus on breaking up the problem into smaller parts and solve the problem. Whereas in bottom-up approach we solve smaller problems and add it as a whole, that is integrate as a whole and complete the solution. Here this top-down approach, this approach is focused on breaking up the problem into smaller parts known as decomposition. Whereas bottom-up approach follows the composition. Composition means we solve smaller problems and integrate it. That's called composing it. And it follows, especially this top-down approaches follows used by structural programming languages, whereas bottom-up approaches followed by object-oriented programming languages. Immediately if we say that object-oriented programming languages, again the concepts like encapsulation, data hiding takes place. This encapsulation and data hiding comes under to minimize the redundancy. But here mainly these examples for object-oriented programming languages such as C++, C#, and Python. Whereas for structured programming languages such as COBOL and Fortran, C, etc. Now coming to the redundancy, by considering the redundancy here, each part is programmed separately in structured programming. That's why it contains redundancy. But here redundancy is minimized, whereas in bottom-up approaches because of data encapsulation and data hiding. Coming to communication, because each part is programmed separately, therefore what will happen, the communication is less among modules. Because here individual we are dividing into small parts, that parts are known as the modules. But whereas in bottom-up approaches, in this module what will happen, because redundancy is minimized by data encapsulation and data hiding, there is no separate programming, they combined. Then what will happen? The communication, it must have the communication in the case of bottom-up approaches. Next here, it is used for top-down approach follows as debugging and module documentation. But bottom-up approaches, it is basically used for testing. Now coming to here, the decomposition point of view. In top-down approach, decomposition takes place, and bottom-up approach is composition takes place. What is the decomposition? Here the decomposition means the complete we focus breaking up the problem into smaller parts is known as a decomposition. And whereas composition means composing, that means smaller problems, solving smaller problems and integrating it, that is known as composing. And another important word we learned here is this redundancy. What is the meaning of redundancy here? Redundancy means backing up the data in the programming language. But here redundancy is minimized, no need to backing up. In the case of object-oriented programming, that's why this object-oriented programming comes under followed by bottom-up approaches. And here the redundancy, it contains redundancy means backing up is it will taking place in the case of top-down approaches. This is what about the difference between top-down and bottom-up approaches differences. Thank you for watching the video.